Clearly, that's what some people would describe as a wake-up call. Well, Nnamdi, clearly not to Huru for Nigeria. Who would have thought that Kenya, who would never lost to, and especially almost beating us when we're African champions, at that in our own backyard. Boy, well, thankfully, we got the equalizer, but whoa, people had their heart in their mouths when that was going on.
But you also have to consider that, yes, like I mentioned, once you're African champions, everybody's going to sit back and try to catch you on the counter. Everybody's going to bring their A game. And in all fairness to the Super Eagles, it wasn't like they were outplayed. It wasn't like they were not in control of the match. The goal came from a set piece, which has always been a Nigerian problem. It wasn't as if our defense was broken down. In fact, I think our defenders had a solid day. They completely neutralized Kenya. The only thing I would say is lapses in concentration. You can blame it on the Nations Cup hangover, or the fact that after the Nations Cup we still have to do some mixing and matching. A lot of people criticized Femi Martins, that his positioning was bad, but I saw something different. I saw he was full of running. He's not played with this team. They've been together for a long time. He hasn't played with them, so it's going to be hard for him to get into their groove. But I think he's somebody we should still keep around. I think the people we really have to thank on that day were actually Malawi, because they kept us at the top of the group. Anything else, and we would have gone back. Even though I'm still afraid we might get to permutation calculator time, because it's typical of Nigeria. I don't think it's anything to panic. I don't think it should cause any panic. I think we can win the second leg.
In Kenya?
Yes, in Nairobi, we can win it. It's an easily winnable match. Even this match was an easily winnable match. It was a case of missed chances, and we'll have to know that we can't be cocky like that again. We'll have to approach differently and approach like every chance is our only chance. Because you sort of got the impression that they felt sooner or later the goal will come, and there was no urgency about trying to get the goal. We took substitutions, and the likes of Odo Amadi, people who were hungrier, and like I say, everybody is playing their part. So I wouldn't say he got us out of jail. I'll say he just did his job. His job was to come and be an impact player, and it's good to know that we have more and more options in the Nigerian team. My only worry now is that they don't let this result affect team morale, because I mean, after an AFCON high like that, all of a sudden you're drawing 1-1 at home with Kenya in a stadium that has become something of a fortress. Some people have taken it back to the mind games, that perhaps the distraction came from all the hula baloo created by the so-called mistreatment of Kenya, and I don't think that factors in. I think when we go to Kenya, we should not try to play any mind games. We should not try anything. Just go there, beat them, and walk out.
But the Kenyans are going to have a lot more confidence now that they were in Calabar and got a draw. So going back home, I mean, their coach has said it's going to be a really tough match. It means they're going to throw everything they possibly can, because they'll feel hard done by with that result, because they feel, look, we could have walked away with 3 points here.
Yeah.
But in Kenya, it will be a battle.
There are two reasons why I think it should work in our favor. One is that it's very heartbreaking when you've held a 1-0 lead. You've been under pressure, and just when you thought you had escaped with a morale-boosting victory against the run of play, you concede. So already that deflates your morale. Secondly, I think they came into this match feeling like underdogs and talking tough. So they came out hungry, defending, fighting for every ball. In Kenya, they'll feel a lot more confident, and that could be to their own detriment. Seriously, to their own detriment, because now they make the mistake of coming out to play against the Super Eagles, and we know that Super Eagles have issues with teams that sit back and compact, defend. But when you come out to play and leave gaps between your defense and your midfield, for the likes of Mikel to pick holes and Onazi to run through and Victor Moses to cut back and leave your fullback helpless, then you're in serious trouble.
Speaking about the changes, Kaide saying he thinks Keshi shot himself in the foot by injecting 5 major changes in that team, and that was perhaps he suggests as part of the reason why we seem to have struggled in that match.
When he says shot himself in the foot, you must remember that a lot of the changes, even the ones before the game, were not made by Keshi. For example, if Ambrose was suspended, in many cases injured, these were not things he could have foreseen. So he had to bring in Kwambe, had to bring in Martins, had to make changes like that. It wasn't Keshi's fault. And two, even though we have one AFCON, you don't want anybody to be complacent. You don't want anybody to think they have an automatic shirt, which means if you have quality in other places, you have to inject them and make sure that there's a fight for shirts. Even if you are the reigning African champions, you still have to defend your shirts. Okay,
you talked about Malawi keeping us at the top of that group. Let's take a look at the group standings now and see the other matches that perhaps we're going to be grappling with, especially after that of Kenya. But Kenya sits at the bottom of that table, where Nigeria 5 points and Malawi also 5 points. But this could easily tumble.
Very, very easily. Very easily. One bad result, one draw somewhere, and suddenly you're fighting for survival. What Nigeria needs to do now is keep winning. And not just keep winning, they need to keep winning those who are closest to them. Which means right now, if you have to face anybody in Namibia, you have to win it. Because the truth is, Kenya is far out of it. But the truth is, we still need to win them, because you lose in Kenya and suddenly you're both on 5 points.
Yeah. All three will be on 5 points if we lose in Kenya.
And whoever wins the other fixture suddenly goes top of the group.
Oh dear.
So it's a very, very, very scary scenario.
I mean, after this group, you still have another stage. And so if we're struggling at this stage...
well, I don't know. I don't think we should worry yet.
Really?
No, we shouldn't. For the simple reason that it's the same thing that happened AFCON, qualifiers, everything. Start slow.
But the expectation is high now. So
I think that's the only problem. Expectations are high. That's the only problem. Take out expectations and remember that we're still in a rebuilding process. Even if we have one AFCON, let's not get carried away.
Okay.
We're still rebuilding.
Look at the remaining matches, June and September. Well, yes, of course, Kenya. And then you're going to face Namibia and Malawi. So, but thinking about that of Kenya, well, but these fixtures are coming quick and fast. June 5 and June 12.
The thing is, if we're able to win our 2 away matches, the truth is we could be done and dusted with the group by the time we face.
But what's our away form currently? Is it impressive, you think?
Our Nigerian away form, whether at national, whether at club level, has always been abysmal.
Wow.
We are very terrible travelers. We don't travel very well. We usually depend on home form to make things happen. But I think that the mentality of this team is different. It's a much hungrier team. So
that should be one thing we have going for us.
Yes, all the coach needs to do is just to remind them that, look, if Kenya could come here and get a 1-0 draw, it means that there's no home advantage again. Go there and beat them. I mean, they came and got a 1-0 draw here. So what's the big deal about home advantage? You really have to work that into their psyche, and we need to win those matches. Already they are going to open camp in Germany in May. As soon as the European season finishes, the Adidas Center Germany, and the team is going to be there. And from there, we have friendly matches with Jamaica and I think Mexico before World Cup qualifiers.
But then you still have the Confederation.
Then we have the Confederations Cup.
Yeah.
Coming up. So everything is thick and fast. But I think what the blessing in disguise is that for the Confederations Cup, it's more an invitational. It's a showpiece tournament. So it gives us the opportunity to test a whole lot of players.
Whoa. Are we going to be doing that?
Look, the main thing is the World Cup.
Oh, okay.
The main thing is the World Cup. You get beaten at the Confederations Cup, too bad. You
shouldn't be thrashed.
You shouldn't be thrashed, agreed. But you want to keep your squad fit tight for your qualifiers and for the World Cup. And as for the Confederations Cup, go in there, test who you think are your best players, do your mixing and matching, because it's not against Kenya, against Namibia, against Malawi that you want to be mixing and matching too much, because you need consistency over those matches to actually qualify for the World Cup.
Well, looking at this team and their previous matches, even the last match, do you think that they're focusing on playing together as a unit, or the team will occasionally allow individual brilliance or also work on set pieces? Because, I mean, we need to bring in something extra, because everybody's seen what we had before.
Yes, we need to bring in something extra. I think as good as the team is playing, they have good possession. I think we're getting too predictable. Everybody knows that our roots are spread the ball through Moses. You know, our crosses come from our fullbacks, even though Inchijele's crosses are not the most accurate, but it's becoming a bit predictable.